Is there anything that is there anything that you look back on and you think, I should have not done that?
Uh, yeah, there's probably maybe some things at college or whatever, but at the same time, you're growing and learning, and with
Yeah.
the right audience, as I said, with my chosen son, uh, we had a, I coordinated the conversation, which is typically me as a father. I'd say as a father figure, I just said, well, let me tell you how I know your father. Let me tell you some stories of our upbringing and why certain things we do and certain things we don't do. I said, do you understand why you're so part of my life? And that just kind of opened up conversation and whether there's a reciprocating kind of stuff because he's very private,
Hmm.
but it opens the door for future conversation to say there isn't anything, literally probably anything you can think of or do or whatever that I would not be, listening and supportive in any way to help you or anything else. There's never, never feel you're in the weeds and you can't actually talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on for a lot of people. And then our political climate is just sucking the life out of, so many. Uh, and I try not to have those conversations as much. And,
Hmm.
it doesn't, we do what we can do as long as we feel that we're doing what we can do in our world of today to make change. We're positive change, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah, one of the things I do love about this community here, though, is that is the, or it just seems like to me, there is a large amount of transparency. And I think it is because, one, I think it's because a lot of people here are older, right?
Yeah,
We've been through it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're much more open to just putting it out there and saying, this is how I live, this is where I've been, this is the shit that I've done.
Yeah.
Um, but I absolutely love it. I love people who are willing to discuss the things that they did and are willing to share it so that other people can go, oh, well, I'm headed in that direction. Maybe I should change directions.
Well, right. And you never know by asking about a story, telling your story, living your truth, what piece of that, it may not be the conversation we're having right now, but it could
Hmm.
be a day from now, a week from now, a year from now. You think, okay, now I remember when we did this. I just had that conversation with somebody locally who's now battling some healthcare issues, very serious. And uh, he saw me at a coffee shop and he remembered um, something we talked about, God, like a year ago. And he's like, yeah, all of a sudden it dawned on me about this. And then I kind of asked that question. I didn't think about it. Now I'm in that. I need to ask the question. And, and good, bad, and different, he's got a different viewpoint on, how some of that works, which is a good thing, you know.
That's great.
But he was
Yeah.
also transparent enough to tell me, what that is and what the struggle is. And if you don't ask for, many of us are very isolated. I'm very much the caregiver for others, but we, as I said earlier, we don't always care for ourselves, or we don't open up to other people and say what we're struggling with. But when
Hmm.
you can, and thankfully I have some close people, yourself included, that I can say any given morning, it's like, this is just a shit morning, or whatever. And, you get a
Yeah.
laugh. I get a hug, you get a laugh, we make some sarcastic, innuendo or whatever. And then it kind of puts a different spin on the day.
Are
So,
you are you a loner in general? You don't seem like a loner to me.
it's funny. And I've done many workshops and different things, and I met somebody recently who just assessed me pretty clearly, but I didn't know that well. And he said, well, he goes, by all indications, you're very much an extrovert. However, when we're together and I talk with you and we go to something, you're very much an introvert, and I don't
Hmm.
like crowds, and I will circle around the outside of a like dance floor or whatever. I mean, sometimes you can be in the center if that's kind of where you're at, but other times I'm just around the outside, having the one-on-one or having some conversations with people, or just not being the focus of something,
Hmm.
and they said that seems to be more your style, and I'm like, yeah, whether I knew that or not, I've always been kind of shy and, kind of closed off. And that's also because I was battling my coming out and battling HIV. Then it's like, who am I? Am I worthy? Am I whatever? And all those kind of
Sure.
crap. And I thankfully put a lot of those away, but it still is in that. You go to pool parties here, and some are very open and carefree, and other ones are very specific, and I'm like, I'm not part of
Yeah.
that, or I am part of that, or they're equally as cliquish, so you have to kind of either be by yourself or you jump in the deep end, as they say, and talk to somebody that you wouldn't normally talk to. you know
Yeah, for me, it's kind of, it's, I guess it's very similar, but it's more of a mood thing.
yeah,
I might go to a pool party and I'll be like, you know what, I can't.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not, I don't really enjoy like the naked pool party things. That's just not my thing. I'm glad other people do. That's their
yeah,
thing. I get too self-conscious, and I recognize that in myself, and I think, nah, I don't want to put myself there.
yeah. See, I go the other direction. I like that, and then I do get semi self-conscious as an age and a body and whatever, and you're around, and we have close friends that do a close friend couple that do a naked movie night in their pool, and it's basically you putting on Goonies, putting on Sister Act, and there's 40 people, but and you can tell the ones that are very comfortable, that they've done this before, and others, even myself going the first time, it's like you can't be closed. The whole idea is that you remove all those barriers, and it's not a sexual thing. It's not whatever. It can be whatever you want it to be, but it's everybody's
Hmm.
there to laugh and giggle at some stupid movie in the pool, and it's outdoors, and just talk to each other and put away some of this, anxiety and bar kind of stuff that you don't talk to somebody, you're online and doing all this, and it's like, no, you actually have to have a conversation because you're literally naked at the bar, at the outside bar, or getting a hamburger, or doing, and it's like you just have to own your body and own whatever you have at that moment. It's just kind of funny. Uh,
Well, when you say that, there, when you say that, there are different levels of naked in that whole thing. Like
yeah,
you're naked,
yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
you're suddenly naked, like you are,
Yeah,
and
yeah, you completely. And I was having this conversation while just standing watching the movie, and some younger, 30 something, I say younger, and there was a connection, obviously, but not, we weren't even touching or doing anything. And he was just laughing. He goes, "What is this about?" He goes, and he was embarrassed because he said, "That wasn't my intent to, you're just men being men." And I said, "That's how conversation happens." And the conversation, naked clothes, whatever, you look in someone's eyes, or you're having a conversation and you hear their voice, or you're having a reflective moment about whatever, talking about school,
Mhm.
talking about whatever, and there's a connection. And I said that makes all the difference of how your body, unbeknownst to you, and unplanned, reacts. Whether
Right.
that's you're smiling, whether that's arousal, whether that's any of those kind of components. I go, it doesn't have to be anything further than that. It's just you have to acknowledge that your body, your mind, and everything is a living transitional thing. And any given day, it can change, and any
Yeah,
moment
I
it can
could see
change.
that.
And then some days you're not. You have a conversation with somebody, and there's not that connectivity, and
Right.
you're like, oh yeah, we probably won't have another conversation. Maybe. you know
Yeah.
that's not and you know what those are, and then you have couples, you have other stuff, and there's all those dynamics, and and as a single man, you just like, okay, I you know I get this, and that's can be a frustrating thing in our market, being single and not a coupled in our market, but
So there's no one that you're dating right now?
no, I have some close friends and close confidant, kind of thing that we have, text chats and other kind of stuff that are just fun and
Hmm.
funny, and just to make your day feel better, and whatever that is, and just to when you're together, you communicate and you have fun and you just kind of talk. And that's, I'm very blessed in that way. A lot of that is from the gym, even on the day I don't want to go to the gym, but today. But, others will say, well, you were here a lot of time working the jaw muscle, chatting. Yeah, not the other
It,
one. Like somewhere working.